Hello everyone, welcome to Cherry Telly with Butterfly Princess Steph Marie in collaboration with Sweet Cherry Publishing, who are an independent award-winning children's book publisher based in Leicester, UK. Joining me for today's episode is debut author and illustrator Jodie Smith, who's written a lovely book entitled Bipolar Blob. Now, Jodie isn't just the author of Bipolar Blob. She is also the very talented illustrator. So she's added some beautiful illustrations to her work as well.
Thank you.
This book is available to purchase at all major book retailers, including Amazon and bookstores. And you can also listen to Jodie's story by just scanning the barcode as well. And I think Jodie has recorded her own, so it's actually her reading the story to you. So, hi, Jodie. It's really lovely to meet you.
Lovely to meet you too. Yeah, lovely.
Bipolar Blob, how did it all come about?
Yeah, so I did an 8-week picture book illustration course online last year. And I got a scholarship for that, for like being from an underrepresented background. So and then it was sort of just towards the end, it was sort of born with that, because I thought I needed something that I could like share with my daughter, because I've got a toddler, about like understanding bipolar from her own mum's perspective. And I wanted something that was quite simple for a range of different children and anyone to sort of understand, basically. But yeah, I just wanted to have, because there's not really anything out there book-wise for children, not many things to explain bipolar, especially from someone's like personal experiences with it as well. So yeah.
And with design, I know that you've got a very varied background with design. So in 2017, you graduated from the Leeds Art University with an honours in pattern design and other things. So you've obviously had a very big interest in the world of designing, and you've also in 2020 you started up your own design business where you've like designed for like gift wrap and stationery, and also you've sort of like the characters from Bipolar Blob is that you've had them sort of designed into like, I wouldn't say cuddly toys, but in a toy for
Yeah.
the plushy format.
Yeah, it's really fun to see them as a like 3D. I think that's like a highlight. This whole experience of being with Sweet Cherry as an author and illustrator, like a debut as well, it's definitely a career highlight. But like you said, yeah, I graduated in 2017. I did printed textiles and pattern, and then from there, I did freelance for like a greeting card agent for a while, whilst working in retail for a bit at home. And then I moved away, I think it was 2018 or 2019. And I designed for Clinton's cards for a little bit as a junior designer, where I designed for the cards and gift wrap and stuff in the shops. So that was interesting as well. So yeah.
I just wanted to say, because obviously you say in the book that you were diagnosed yourself with bipolar in 2021. So you describe yourself as neurodivergent, and I suppose there's a lot of people in the publishing industry now that sort of describe themselves as neurodivergent.
Yeah.
And despite that links in really well with the brand new imprint that's been launched recently by by Sweet Cherry Publishing, Every Cherry, which we had Emma Steele, the Send executive, talking about, that so that's all about creating high quality, enjoyable reading material for the Send community. So, well, I suppose what my question would be to you, Jodie, is that obviously you're neurodivergent yourself. How important is it for you to for you to get your story out there? Because, like you say, this is a very personal account of your experiences with living with bipolar. Paul, you're very, very clear in pointing out that everyone's experiences with bipolar is very different. Now, this is a very unique account of you and your experiences.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's it. I think one of the main points obviously is, yeah, the book is about bipolar, and it's sort of just a simple it's a starting point for children to understand various emotions. And I think that's important, especially now, to get children to, talk more about mental health and understand. Because I remember even when I was at school, it wasn't really talked about. It's only like, I don't know how long, but I think especially bipolar, because it's seen as like a serious mental illness. I know there's a spectrum of lots of different things as well, but I think it's definitely a good starting point. And I've been told by a few different people in the book industry that it's kind of a trailblazer to be, I think it's de-spelling. I don't know if that's the right word, but challenging the stigmas that come with mental illnesses. And I think that means a lot, that I can even use my experiences, because they have been challenging in the past. They've not been great, but also just to use them in a more positive way. I think that means a lot too. So yeah.
And that really links in with when this book was published by Sweet Cherry. I've got a quote here from the 1 minute. Let me find the quote. Yes, the 1 minute.
No worries.
Sorry about this. So we've got a quote here from Sweet Cherry's head of design, Joe Samways, and she was saying how equally excited she was, when she read your manuscript for Bipolar Blob, because she has actually said herself there's been an increased demand in the publishing industry for books to be published for children around mental health, loss, physical illness. So you're right, I think this is an upcoming trend within the publishing industry.
Yeah, I think it's really important just to not to be scared, not to shy away from talking about a little bit more serious life things that children may face, or their families may be facing, just to yeah, there's still a little bit of stigma with stuff, but I think stuff like this, and in the future, there's a lot more coming out there for children's books, especially. I know that it's definitely a positive step, isn't it?
Yes, and I can understand that, talking about mental illness and other physical illnesses can be quite a challenging concept. I mean, mental illness and physical illness, as we know, is quite challenging, because unless you're a medical professional, when we come out with all the technical jargon, you won't, in layman's terms, it's very difficult to understand. But I suppose a book like this is a good introduction, and taking that you've also illustrated the book, so it's a range of simple illustrations, and so you also visited as part of a first official author visit. You also visited a preschool where you talked about bipolar blob with the preschool children, and you talked about emotions such as anger, happiness, and all that. But that must have been such a refreshing way for like children to hear a very personal, unique account of someone who hasn't the mental illness of bipolar, because as we know, that it's a mental health condition that was previously known as manic depression, and for children, there's so much in the news is about the world in which we're living today. Can really impact children's mental health and mental health of the people around them. So this is sort of a fabulous introduction. I'd say for children to fully understand it and to get them conversations going, really.
Definitely. And like because I wrote it when my daughter was she was 2, nearly 3 now. So like the preschool visit, like you mentioned, that was sort of her age group. And as much as that's why I didn't go into too much depth with them about the more like, even in the book, it's not about the more serious sides of bipolar. It's sort of just an overview, like a touch point for like mania, feeling like of neutral, like bipolar blob's the calm one, and sunshine is like elevated and happy. So it's a range of emotions, that a lot of people might feel in everyday life, but with bipolar they can switch a lot quicker and be sort of more extreme on either side. So it's yeah, just sort of getting that point across, but not too scarily as well.
And I believe you're working on book 2 of Bipolar Blob. I don't know if there's anything you can like tell us or give us a bit of a sneak preview of what will that involve?
So I did I did kind of get a little bit told off by Morgan, who's on this, when I did the preschool visit, because the lady asked me, what are you doing, anything else, and I did say yeah. And I'm trying to not give too much away, but yeah, book 2's happening. It's underway. The illustrations are nearly done, and I'll just say there's a new character. That's all I'll say. I'll probably get told off for that, but there's a new character as well. I'll be a bit cheeky.
And so, Jodie, just to finish off, because I think that it's nice to like finish off in this way, is that because when I do my interviews, especially since I've come on board with Sweet Cherry and being the presenter of Cherry Telly, that I always like to get to know my interviewees, my guests, outside of their the day job, if you will. So what are sort of your hobbies outside of writing? I mean, I know that you design a lot, you have your own sketchbook, but you're also a fan of vintage shopping and going to charity shops and finding little gems and stuff.
Yeah, I do love it. I love a bargain. I love charity shops. I sort of love like I used to really enjoy listening to records before my daughter came along, but she won't let me listen to them at the minute. Maybe when she gets older, she might be more willing. But I like going to cafes. That's one of my favorite little hobbies. coffee and cake. That's a go-to. I'm trying to get into reading a bit more again, but I just always say I never have the time, even though I spend way too much time on Instagram, you know, like checking the reels out all the time. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think just stuff like that really. And I love my two cats as well. I adopted them both. They're cute as well. So yeah, that's my little things.
Well, Jodie, it's been lovely to talk with you today, and thank you for coming on to Cherry Telly to speak to me. And everyone, you can buy Bipolar Blob now from all like major retailers, including Amazon and bookstores and other, you know, other retailers. Thank you for your
Thank you
time
so
today,
much.
Jodie,
Lovely
and
to meet you.
lovely to meet you, and I look forward to. I wish you continued success with, you know, future projects with Sweet Cherry Publishing.
And you too with the cherry telly. That sounds amazing.